Okay. Yeah, I know it's messed up. All right. All right. I'm gonna start this stream over because my camera was messing up. All right. So here's the deal. $20 years ago, 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 invited us to a camp, right? 20 years ago. We were getting Klitschko ready to fight Tony Thompson. And so this is my real first time into a real super heavyweight fight camp. And so this episode is literally about the professional boxing and how this works, because I don't expect YouTubers to understand it, because if you are going in to become a pilot, you wouldn't know shit about being a pilot. You just got to learn on the job. So what I'm deciding to do is tell you about what pro boxing actually entails when you are a coach, and I'm gonna touch on what to expect as you a fighter. So maybe you fight, maybe you've been in the coaching game a little bit, but you still don't know shit about boxing. I don't care if you've been coaching for 15 years. It's just so much that you got to learn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this all down, and I'm going to get into it and let you guys really understand what pro boxing is about. And that a lot of you guys, you think this is a damn charity. This ain't no charity. Pro boxing is the exact same thing as going into a professional football camp or professional football industry. The industry of combat sports tethers its way all the way up to rugby, up to football as we know it. But you guys don't realize, though, those are Fortune 500 companies. They have secretaries, they have technicians, they have IT departments, they have all different types of handlers. Because a company that can be required as a company must have layers to it. And when I talk about 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 inviting us to camp, so we had three heavyweights. We had Terminator, Hagler, and Paul. All right. So Manuel Stewart needed to get his fighter ready with a southpaw. So we had two real southpaws, one converted southpaw. Right. So here's the deal. When you go to a training camp, it doesn't matter who you are. If you go and get hired for IBM, you wait no later than 3 weeks before you get your first check because you work a week in a hole. Okay, but when you're a trainer in boxing, the first thing you have to learn how to do, and you suckers don't know what the fuck you doing, is to get a contract on what you're actually going to be responsible for. See, the contract says what you will deliver, what is your deliverable, and your contract also says what you charge for the time that you give people when you are in camp, the value that you bring. I did it with Coach Kenny Porter through email. If you want to read the email, I'll find it. Jeff Mayweather, exact same thing. See, I don't just show up to camp. They know what my deliverable was. My deliverable is all of this shit that's in all of these books that I understand about boxing. And I talk to you guys about boxing and the business of boxing. Boxing is a fucking business. So stop being so fucking stupid. Stop acting like this is a damn charity, because it's not. This is a business, and you only take advantage of people who are stupid. People who choose to ignore the fact. So there's a reason why you have a hot dog stuck up your butt, because you're letting the game play you. So you deserve to be played, because you continue to just let the game play you. Once I learned that the game is played this way, I already knew not to get played again, ever. When Emanuel Stewart brought us to the camp, the first thing that he said is that your camp, your guys are the most business savvy people that I've met. And you know why? Because Emanuel Stewart was a mother pimp, right? I mean, in the best of ways. He understood what he was delivering. He wasn't just coaching. He wasn't just giving the trainers instructions to train and work with Klitschko when he wasn't, or with Lennox Lewis when he wasn't, or with Hearns when he wasn't, or McCallum. Anything and any service that he rendered was in the contract. Does anyone actually know what this dude made per fight? Where the average coach makes 10% of the purse, because his job is coaching and he coaches. You don't understand what he's doing. So what he's doing is he is taking the actual layout of the deliverable, making the guy agree or disagree with whatever the contract says. And if you don't understand how to create the contract, you need to learn. Okay. We have a blueprint of the contract in our coach's corner. And the contract has to be done as followed, because you learn what deliverable that you can give someone who's asking for your service. Now, the game of boxing is going to play you. Whatever you don't know, you will get stung. And so whenever you get to a place where someone wants to hire you and all you say is, yeah, you've already agreed to work with them for them for as long as they want you to, for free, with no agreement in place. You can't go tell someone that you did some work for 10 years ago to pay you for the work that you did. Because all deals are done on the front end. When you don't understand, because you're such a punk, you won't even tell the guy that you have value. So therefore, they know you don't know your value. So therefore, guess what? You are not going to get your value. Hence is what we're focusing on, teaching our guys. And if you fail to get educated in boxing, this is the sport you're going to get your ass whooped in when it comes down to the business side of it. Because everybody likes to take. And if you ain't got the understanding to sit and stick your chest out and go through what we call the negotiation, or have your agent negotiate your pay, then you're just gonna look. It's so many broke trainers, I can't even count them, because they are too afraid to address the issue at hand. Because he's a pro fighter and he can go get anybody. He can't go get any fucking body. Everybody ain't working with everybody, especially when you know your shit. I don't work with no fucking body. And can't nobody pay me enough money to commit my life to you. That's crazy. If you really think about what a coach is doing, he's sacrificing his family, he's sacrificing his life for somebody who's stupid enough not to pay him anyway. That's real boxing. I done this shit. I don't really give a damn if I ever see a physical training camp again, even just walking through, because I understand what's actually happening. The media can come in and take interviews, and the media can come in and they can talk to these people, and they can record video, and they can snapshots, and they can write what they write. They don't know what's going on in camp. You can walk into a hospital, you don't know what the fuck's going on in a hospital. You have no idea what's actually going on in a hospital. You don't know what's going on in a fight camp. See, because what's going on is what's internal. It's all turmoil happening here in Tyson Fury's camp. Turmoil was going on. Usyk's camp, regardless of how professional everybody comes across, Russ and those guys are super professional, but the same shit goes on when you got egos, when you haven't negotiated right, when you have people who are trying to pay their bills, but they're not confident enough in themselves to stand in front of the guy who's cutting the checks. Yes, the guy who has you in his ecosystem, and say, hey, here's the deal. Because when you don't negotiate on the front end, there is no back end negotiation. Sorry, you don't get more money for something you committed yourself to and you did not commit to a price. That's why I'm ice cold when I talk about doing anything, because I know my value. I know my value, and I'm not cutting it for your ass, because I know what I'm going to do, and I know how I'm going to do it, and I know how much work's going to go into it, and I know how much more value I'm going to give the people who said, yeah, I want you to do it for me, and I'm going to pay you this for sure. I don't even give a damn, because I know I'm going to get my money's worth. You see, and I'm sorry, man. It's just pathetic. People come out of the amateurs thinking that they come out of the amateurs with that same amateur mindset. There's no negotiating in amateurs unless you're negotiating when you go pro. Are we going to be a team? Because you have no idea that the amateur fighter has met somebody like me. And as soon as he gets done, he's moving to another city, and he's going to get in bed business wise with an entirely different dude, because everybody don't want to do no amateurs. But if you don't understand contracts, if you don't understand how to negotiate, if you don't understand what your deliverable is, if you don't understand your own value, then you don't expect the fighter to think about it. So when you going into a training camp, the first thing that you need to make clear is how consistent. Here, I have 3 days I can show up. I have my 5-day rates, and I have my 6-day rates. I have my rates where I can do connecting, and I can make sure that you have all the people that will be necessary for a camp, because I know there won't be all the people that you need. And I have the relationships where I can bring in more bodies to come into camp to give you that work. That's another entire rate. I'm not going to couple everything into one position saying I'm just going to come in as a coach and just do all the work for free, because it's all individualisms. Okay. And this is the main reason Emmanuel Stewart made 45% of whatever Klitschko made. 45%. 45% ain't a lot when you talk about $100. 45% is a pretty good damn penny when you talk about $4 million. 45% of $4 million is almost $2 million. Okay. That's negotiating. And you know what? You're in camp motivated to do all of those jobs. You're in camp motivated to bring in other bodies to help you do those jobs. Y'all don't see all of that kind of stuff happening. So imagine when somebody's messing with your money. When people are messing with your money, you can best believe that there's going to be internal turmoil that's going to create external turmoil. You can go and look at Joe Goosen, and you can look at when he went to coach Ryan Garcia for the tank fight. And the first thing you notice is immediately after that fight, he was gone. See, Joe's not just going to be around that bullshit. You're going to pay Joe Goosen. Okay. You're not going to get these real legendary guys. You're not playing them. They know their worth. You're not going to play Robert Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Those guys know their money. Derek James learned. That's why he's suing Spence. So y'all got to realize this thing is more than just, oh I want to train. I want to coach him. He asked me to be a coach. You don't know shit about the business of boxing. That's why this post is called Pro Boxing. This is how the game works. The game is real different than what you guys think of it as. It's not what you think. And if you don't know it, stay out of pro boxing. Just stay down there with those damn amateurs and just surrender your entire life to learning how to teach and all that good shit. Kumbaya, you can do it. That's not where my time spent. I got to be changing things on the globe. I done been through that shit. Okay. Too many damn years learning to basically find out it's like everything that will screw you. So you got to learn not just skills, and you're so anxious to show everybody what you know and have learned, and you still don't know shit about fucking boxing. You don't know nothing. All that stuff ain't nothing. I knew all that stuff and met some of the worst days in the gym, because it ain't all about that stuff. It's some shit that you don't even know that's coming. Well, that shit where you talking about you in there and you bumping heads with people that's cagey. Bam. You don't know nothing about boxing. If skills is where your head is hanging at, this thing is much more. Boxing is the essence of a man's will. And when I say will, what he will do to will through whatever you gonna bring to him. So there is that. And that comes with education and understanding that you're fighting more than a physical battle of skills when you start boxing. Most of the stuff you see when you get to the upper echelon of boxing is not skills. Okay. It's instinct and intuition. And when you start getting muscle memory for that, that means you've been there enough to understand what to do when no matter what the situation is. So skills will push a guy to use other tactics. It'll push him into doing these other kind of things. Hence is why I continue to say, and I don't give a shit who's watching. You don't know shit about boxing. Okay, so preface this however you may. I care less. The bottom line is, if you don't know anything about negotiating your own worth, you're worth less. And if you don't take the time to decide how to actually be a professional in the sport of boxing, stay out of professional boxing, because the only thing you're going to lead with and leave with is heartache and headaches, because you're not going to win a lot and you're not going to get paid at all, because it takes you to be strong enough to stick your chest out and hold your balls, because this thing here isn't about being around people who are getting some success and trying to let that leak onto you. Nobody's going to let it leak onto you. Okay? They're going to let it leak onto themselves. Everybody's out for themselves in this sport. Okay? Hence is why I'm proud of where I've come into the sport. I can coach people and show them. And believe me or not, it's stupid motherfuckers that won't even level their own selves up so that they can understand this shit on an entirely different level. So there's that. But for those of you who will understand the value of sacrificing to appreciate someone who's willing to give you knowledge, that they could just be sitting around eating sandwiches and not giving a fuck who knows. Nobody really gives a shit, because I know it. I done it. So I can enjoy it. I can enjoy watching people who don't know. And because nobody's ever going to tell you, lineages are not just something you can just go get in. It's only 5 lineages that matter on the entire planet. And I've learned from 4 of the 5 directly. So there's that. And I know what you don't know. Don King was the first promoter that I learned this game from. He was the first guy that I had. Then there was Gary Shaw. Gary Shaw was next. These are the actual most shrewdest businessmen that there are in the sport of boxing ever. I understand all of these guys, and I understood what they were going through, and I understood their game. They play business. That's all they do. People's like, oh, he's a thief. He just know his business. And you don't. So, don't hate a man for having a bigger than you and takes your girl. See, the thing about it is, what weapons are you choosing? If you have an opportunity to choose the weapons that prepare you for battle and you choose not to, then the only thing that's going to happen to you is you're going to become a cancer. You're going to get eaten alive. The reputation is going to get out about you. And everybody's either going to play you or keep you at bay, because boxing will do that to you very fast. Very fast. It doesn't matter. If you don't know the game, if you don't understand this shit, so what you don't understand will become amplified behind your back, and people will know and see you coming, and they'll be prepared. This is that, and that is boxing. And if you're not cut from that shit, because everybody thinks they are until they get in it and they realize they too small, they ain't got enough courage. But the bottom line is this: you're not going to make it in a sport that requires you to be an absolute fucking monster. You're not. You're too much of a mama's boy. And mama's boys don't make it in boxing. You ain't never met a mama's boy that make it in boxing, because you got to talk the talk. You got to walk the walk. And that walk requires you to be a man. And a man stands up to what he has to stand up to. A man faces any other man face to face. And whenever you can't even negotiate your own salary, then you're not another man that you couldn't even look your own kid in the face. So it's unfortunate there are so many people out there that are delusional, but they will find out soon. You will find out very soon. You will soon find out what I know. And if you guys think this thing is really, really that damn simple, any one of you guys out there who's a trainer and you watching, you know, I'm going to hold my middle finger up to you and say, F you. You don't know shit about boxing, but you will soon. take it as you may. And like I said, there's a reason why Tyson Fury turns his head. He's so intelligent. He turns his head because he knows the game. He doesn't argue about the shit because he knows what's going on. And one day you will too. And this is for all of you coaches who've been screwed, and all of you guys who are about to get screwed because it's coming. This is why we created the school, Coach's Corner. It's up to you to do whatever you're going to do. But like you say, you can't afford not to if you're going to be in the sport, because what's going to happen is your reputation is going to get eaten alive because you don't know what you're doing. And people know people who don't know what they're doing, and they abuse them. And so you don't want that. So, I hated to just have to come on and just have this discussion, but there are just so many situations that are happening where people just don't understand about this game, and they just going in there thinking it's just like the amateurs. It's not amateurs, and the amateurs, you're never going to reach the highest level of the amateurs either. So, like there's this on the belly of the beast. Anytime there's a nonprofit tied to things, there's a whole bunch of shenanigans and politics. Professional boxing is a nonprofit. Amateur boxing is a nonprofit. You get it? Like politics are tied to all of it, and you have to be your own politician. And in the Coach's Corner, we make sure you know how to be a politician. I don't care if you care about yourself enough to protect yourself, but you have the information, contracts, negotiations, understanding how to make it's profoundly known that you understand your value. But once you've made an agreement and you didn't do the negotiation, there's no money talked about, there's no front end, no back end, no deliverable talked about. You might as well just say you're just a damn janitor working for free, because you're not going to get a damn thing. People just don't. Everybody is entitled in boxing, and especially the fighters. That's why you see all these coaches having to sue these fighters. George Kambosos' trainer is suing him. Errol Spence's coaches suing him. Like, people don't pay. So if you're broke now, you're gonna really be broke when you don't sacrifice all that time. You could have actually been making money for your family, but you're donating it to these people who are not going to pay you fair. So you got to understand how to create line items and what your deliverable will be. And like I said, boxing is a Fortune 500 company. The people who understand how to do it the right way will make hundreds and hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. And those who won't or don't know won't. There's that. So, ho ho ho. I hope everything that landed, and I hope that you understand that this thing is more than just fun and games and skills and shit. You know, 4 decades in this shit at the highest level. And I just don't think people understand when I talk. Sometimes they think I'm on some, well, no, I am not. I'm a smart fucking dude. You don't write 30 fucking books and not know that shit came from world champion training camps. That shit came from the gods of boxing, the actual Mount Rushmore. I'm giving you guys a sneak peek into a world that you would have never had access to. And so respect this gangster, because I am a fucking gangster and I do know boxing. And if you want to know it, you got to walk the road. I couldn't take no shorts, and you can't take no shorts, because the only way you're going to get the knowledge is when you're in the boxing college. In the boxing college was created by the greats, the Hall of Famers, the legends. So there's that. That's all I got. I just wanted to share some things to you guys. Hopefully, you enjoy learning, because that's all we're going to do is teach you. Get the fuck out of here and go buy your rest of your Christmas gifts. And I'll see you guys all soon in the winner circle. Peace.